Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, how are you? It's a pleasure to greet you at a final project podcast. I hope you are well in this condition, in this rainy season. It's getting cold, right? First of all, let me introduce myself. My name Nidya Dwike Vanessa, and this time we will talk about a case that currently happening. One of them is the case of bullying and persecution. And as we know, bullying is an act or behavior that is done to hurt either in the form of verbal, psychological, or emotional, and can also be in physical form. This bullying can be done by a group of people or individuals who feel physically and mentally stronger than the victim, right? And as we know, from the treatment of bullying, there must be an impact, not only for the victim, the perpetrator also gets a serious impact. The impact for victims of bullying in the form of loss of confidence, social disability, worry, and also physical disorders. Meanwhile, the impacts for bullies is the academic impact, the inability to develop social skills, and the potential for losing emotional control. And let's moving on. Let's talk about let's talk about molestation. Molestation is intentionally causing bad feelings, suffering, pain, or injury, and intentionally damaging people's health, including the crime of the molestation. Elements of persecution, namely the presence of intentional elements, the existence of action, and the consequence of action, which we usually call motive or goals. One of them is pain, and the body feels so bad. And now we have our special guest. Let's see, Cutrey, Febiola, Adfias.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
How are you, Cutrey?
I'm good.
It's
How are
glad
you?
to hear that. I'm fine too. Thank you. And now, first of all, what do you know, Cutrey, about bullying and persecution in Indonesia?
I think bullying and harassment in Indonesia is very serious because most of the victims do not dare to speak up about the perpetrator action because many people blame the victim, like wear clothes, take care of yourself, and so on. Actually, problems like this happen a lot, and the law only give minimal punishment to the perpetrator. Even though the punishment given is very much proportional to the trauma of the victim. At the present, the law in Indonesia is very blunt and unfair to a victim.
Yes, I think justice in Indonesia is also hard to find, right? And now, let's go straight to our main discussion. Before that, let's see the snippet.
Seorang remaja putri mendapatkan penganiayaan dari sesama remaja putri temannya. Video penganiayaan itu viral. Bagaimana kejadian sesungguhnya? Korban penganiayaan adalah seorang remaja putri berusia 13 tahun. Leo Angga Permana, juru bicara tim kuasa hukum korban mengatakan penganiayaan itu terjadi pada Kamis, tanggal 18 November tahun 2021. Kejadian itu berawal dari pertemuan korban dengan seorang lelaki yang kemudian mengajak korban berkeliling mengendarai motor. Setelah berkeliling, korban kemudian diajak ke rumah pelaku di kawasan Blimbing, Kota Malang. Sesuai keterangan korban, pelaku di sana melakukan pelecehan seksual. Korban disekap dan diancam menggunakan pisau saat dibawa ke rumah pelaku, terang Leo kepada wartawan. Senin, tanggal 22 November tahun 2021. Jadi ada dua kejadian, di hari Kamis tanggal 18 November tahun 2021, kurun waktu mulai pukul 10 pagi sampai maghrib. Kejadian pertama adalah dugaan pelecehan seksual. Sementara kejadian kedua adalah tindak persekusi yakni kekerasan dan pengeroyokan, sambungnya. Penganiayaan berawal ketika istri pelaku dugaan pelecehan seksual memergoki korban di rumahnya.
And Cutrey, after seeing the news, what do you think about this case?
This case is very serious. From what I can see, the bullying by a group of people who are not old enough is a severe bullying. Plus, the victim is still a minor, which adds to the impression of a deep trauma in his life. Usually, trauma victims require a long term to eliminate to trauma, plus the need for a psychiatrist for healing.
And yeah, judging the news, indeed, the victims needs better treatment help, yeah? Both mental treatment or physically treatment. And well, have you actually read this news before in here?
Yes, I have.
Oh, wow. Then, what was your first thought after seeing this news?
An act that shouldn't have happened at this time, and I think that something like this is wild and shameful. I hope the Indonesian people can understand the condition of the victim who is experiencing a whole trauma from this incident.
This really shouldn't happen in Indonesia right now. And we know that the perpetrators are reported to be underage. What's your opinion about that?
In my opinion, the perpetrators who are still minor who do something very heinous like that should be followed up with legal action so that they receive lesson and what they deserve. For parents of perpetrators, their children should be educated better and taught more positive things. If they can be punishment of given reason so as not to do things like that again. Because as victim, it must be difficult to get rid of the trauma.
Oh, I also hope that the perpetrators, even though they are minors, must also receive commensurate action with the victims. But for me, I think parents don't have to punish their children severely. They just need to take action that have a deterrent effect. Don't you think?
Yeah, actually, so be like that.
Yes. And now let's see the second snippet.
Juga masih tergolong anak-anak di bawah umur. Dari gelar perkara tersebut, Polresta Malang Kota akhirnya menetapkan 7 tersangka dari 10 saksi yang sebelumnya menjalani pemeriksaan intensif oleh penyidik. Ketujuh tersangka tersebut ditetapkan sebagai pelaku kekerasan dan persetubuhan anak di bawah umur. Penetapan 7 tersangka tersebut berdasar 2 laporan yang diterima polisi, yakni terkait persekusi dan persetubuhan. Dari ketujuh tersangka memiliki peran tersendiri, ada yang bertindak melakukan kekerasan terhadap korban secara fisik, memerintahkan dan merekam aksi kekerasan. Atas perbuatannya tersebut, para pelaku persekusi yang masih di bawah umur ini dikenakan pasal 80 dan 81 Undang-Undang Nomor 35 Tahun 2014, Junto Undang-Undang 23 Tahun 2002 tentang Perlindungan Anak dan pasal 170 KUHP. Ancaman hukuman yang dikenakan adalah 5 hingga 9 tahun penjara. Sementara tersangka pemerkosaan dikenakan ancaman hukuman maksimal 15 tahun penjara.
Sita adalah yang pertama adalah pakaian-pakaian daripada pelaku, kemudian pakaian korban, selanjutnya handphone, selanjutnya adalah video.
Dari 7 yang ditetapkan sebagai tersangka, 6 dilakukan penahanan, sementara 1 tersangka dipulangkan karena usianya masih di bawah 14 tahun. Selain menahan 6 tersangka, polisi juga menyita barang bukti berupa handphone, pakaian korban, serta video amatir terkait kekerasan. Dari Malang, Jawa Timur,
It is stated in the footage that the suspect of persecution is subject to articles on children protection and also Article 170 of the Criminal Code and is treated with 5 to 9 years in prison, while the perpetrators of rape are subject to a maximum of 15 years in prison? And what legal action do you think should be taken in this case?
The action that must be taken by the government should be to carry out a punishment commensurate with what the perpetrator did to the victim. Perpetrator must be punishment according to the law's wisdom, preferably the law which says that minor are committed during the sentence be remedied, because this can make minor motivate to do things like that if the punishment is light.
Yes, and what should the community do in this case?
We should prevent and improve ourselves. We also should turn to the things that can hurt someone else feeling to the point of physically hurting someone else. In this case, the community should support the victim to get rid of his trauma and continue to support the perpetrator so that he gets the punishment he deserves.
Yes, and what do you do if you become a victim's family?
If I become a family member of the victim, I will seek justice for my family and continue support my family until the trauma is gone. If the trauma my family goes through is very severe, then I will take my family to the psychiatrist.
Yes, we all agree with that. And what do you think? And what should we teach in kids about bullying and mistreatment?
Socialism to parents to educate their children from a young age about bullying and abuse should not happen at this time. And I think if I become a parent, I will make sure that my child understand that I will not tolerate bullying at home and anywhere. Teach children to treat children well by telling children not to make an issue of difference such as race, religion, appearance, or economic status, and sympathy for people who have difference.
Yes, I think so. And for me, set a good example such as being careful in speaking and how to deal with conflicts around children. If we as parents behave aggressively in front of children, it is likely that he will imitate our negative behavior as a parents, right? And for me, I also think that education in schools is also necessary to prevent bullying. And so, what did you catch from this episode? From our conversation earlier, we can conclude that bullying and persecution, especially in Indonesia, should not happen again, right? All elements of the government as well as citizens should participate so as not to worsen that the situation. And the role of the community here is most important to form an environment free of bullying and persecution. And also, parents who educate their children from a young age to avoid bullying and persecution, whether they are perpetrators or victims, are needed. Okay, thank you all for being together today. Thank you also for Cutrey for being there. I hope you are always healthy and stay safe, Cutrey. See you again. And I'm Nidya saying goodbye to your listening room. The last word, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.
Thank you.